So, let us first get into that very interesting topic, which the rumors are being circulated around, right? Which is up to 15 lakhs of income, there won't be any income tax. And if this actually comes true, 95% of Indians won't have to pay any income tax. Think about that.
95% of Indians who are paying tax today, they
Absolutely.
will not have to pay tax
Yeah.
anymore. I think all of the middle class, most of the people that we know and who are working, the regular working class, they'll be super happy about this, right?
But again, who started this rumor? And is this even any truth to this?
Yeah, so it's mostly just rumors, like you rightly said, right? I mean, we are just seeing news articles on this, and more importantly, people on Twitter and Reddit talking and hyping up even more, discussing this rumor again, saying that, hey, probably the tax rate cut would happen. But we've seen such rumors even in the past, so we can't be really sure about if this is true or not. But hey, again,
Yeah.
just
And
rumors.
on the other side, industry bodies have demanded or asked the government, saying that by the budget 2025, hey, consider increasing the government spending, consider decreasing the taxes, and consider increasing more jobs in the Indian economy so that small and medium businesses can thrive. So
Right.
when taxes are reduced, that's what actually happens. People have more money to spend, and companies and the entire economy gets a shot in the arm, right? They get boosted. That's what industry bodies are requesting.
Absolutely. But again, when we talk about these income tax and taxation, when anything happens, people get frustrated so easily. Even in the last 1-2 years, if we actually see, so many people, individuals, salaried individuals, are getting so pissed off with this topic. What's happening?
So,
Why?
I was looking at the data from 2013. I didn't go much back before that. But every year since 2013 till 2024, the corporate tax collection in India was higher than the personal income tax collection. Okay, that means companies were paying more tax than individuals. But the previous year, this number flipped, and we ended up seeing a year where Indians paid a net income tax of more than 10.44 lakh crore, and that is just 2.3 crore individuals. Okay, and corporates, on the other hand, paid 9.11 crore lakhs only. Right? So you can see that is where the frustration comes in. Direct income tax collection from individuals is increasing at a much faster pace, and people are not liking that.
Right. So I get that point where individuals are now paying more tax to the government than corporates, and that is something you can see on the percentage tax slabs that individuals and corporates are also on, right? So individuals, as we know, from an income of 5 lakh rupees, their income tax slab start at around 5%, and it goes to the maximum slab of nearly 40% as well. An individual who would be making crores of rupees of income will have to pay nearly 40% of tax. While if you look into corporates, the income tax slab is capped at nearly 25%. You add your surcharges and stuff on top of that, and it'll come to nearly 30%. So corporates, maximum tax they have to pay is nearly 30%, while an individual, it could even go up till nearly 40%. So again, reasons for why individuals are not liking it. They are frustrated, and even when things are not going great for the economy and going great for people as well overall, they definitely look at tax as a villain and start blaming on that as well, right?
Absolutely. And now when there are rumors around that the income tax could be cut down, I think that is making so many salaried individuals happy. And again, from the government standpoint, again, it is making the voters very happy, the salaried people very happy, and more money getting flown into the economy, right?
So back in 2019, when the corporate tax was cut, the idea there was you have to incentivize corporates to make a manufacture and be in India. And for that, the tax rate needs to be competitive globally. But I think for personal income tax, your points make a lot of sense.
But anyway, again, lesser people are paying taxes anyway, not a major dent to the government, and it's a win-win situation for both the governments as well as the salaried individuals, right? But again, historically also, I remember some time ago there was like 95-96% income tax. Historically, how were these taxations?
Yeah, so if you look into India's history of income tax, early in the 1970s, the highest tax slab was nearly 98%.
Think about how much money. There wouldn't be any money left for them to actually use, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So this was actually done so that wealth redistribution could be done and it could be used better for the economy, but it clearly did not work well, obviously.
And I wonder how many people paid that tax.
Exactly. People found ways to evade that, and it was definitely not a great decision. But by 1980s, we saw this highest tax slab rate coming down to nearly 50%. Still a very high, large number. But by 1990s, things were getting better. tax slabs were coming into the picture, things were getting better. But it was in 97, 98 where the dream budget actually got presented by the then finance minister P. Chidambaram. So that was the time when actually the tax slabs came down to nearly 30%, the highest slab coming down to 30%. So the history has been very different. I mean, it's not at all in a way that we think about today. There was a time, like we discussed, right, where the highest tax slab used to be even 98%. So this is how things have happened. But post 98, then the world as we see it today has been happening. A lot of slabs within this has been happening. But the highest tax slab rate coming down to 30-40% is from 97, 98 only.
And absolutely, and now I think the 30% is still being continued. And again, when us being Indians, we always criticize government of being, government taking lot of taxes from us. But we also have to understand there are few countries where the actual income tax is much higher. If you look into Belgium, they have like 60% income tax. Even Canada has 58% tax, and we are now comfortably, our highest bracket is at 39%.
Yeah, even very famously, US. I mean, US is a benchmark for a lot of things, right? You look into US and California, especially, the highest income tax slab there goes to nearly 47%. So
Absolutely.
it is not like Indian government is taxing our citizens a lot. It is happening even in such economies that we look up to, right?
Yeah. But one thing I feel that we have to be very mindful about is whenever we are having these discussions, who is paying this tax, right? Who is ending up paying the highest tax is the question there.
Yeah.
So if in any of those countries, only the rich are paying the highest tax, I don't think that people or the masses will have that much of a problem.
Yeah.
But on the other side, if in a country, even the normal middle class or even the lower income class is paying a huge amount as taxes, they will surely be frustrated. And as you said, the vote bank is going to be surely a problem if the government start thinking that way and try to milk in the maximum taxes from the general public.
Yeah, rightly said. But again, now that under 15 lakhs of income, there won't be any tax. I'm sure that government would take some amount of it, right? So how is this even going to affect our economy?
So the first thing that could happen is boosting compliance. So a lot more people would get into the habit of filing their taxes. So eventually, when their income goes up and even beyond that 15 lakhs mark, they'll end up paying tax, which a lot of people are not paying today. And the second thing is economic growth. So when taxes are reduced, the people have more spending power. That means instead of the government spending money to grow the economy, now the people themselves, they can choose where to spend the money, and small businesses as well as money circulation in the economy, they'll become much better. And that's on the side of the government.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you're thinking on the side of individuals, you have the obvious answer because they'll have a lot more money to spend. They can decide where to spend it, right? They have that freedom. And I feel that's where I would like to highlight this point that 10 years ago, 20 years ago, anyone earning more than 15 lakhs, they were considered a rich person in India.
Yeah.
But today, they are the middle class. Right? That's how things have worked out. Money has lost its purchasing power. Inflation has happened. And I think it is a very forward-looking thing. If the government goes ahead with this proposal, I think the economy will be more better than ever. And individuals and the vote bank will also be more happier than ever.
So now that there could be a tax cut, how this would affect the stock market participants?
Now, thinking about a tax cut, hearing that word and thinking about the stock market, all I can remember is the 2019, the very famous Nirmala Sitharaman candle, right? So 2019, on a very fine day, Nirmala Sitharaman came out and said that, hey, corporate tax is going to be cut and to be reduced to 25%. And that was a day, I mean, the kind of candles that Nifty saw going up and up and up, it was really crazy. So again, speaking about a tax cut, that is something which comes to my mind for the very first time. But now, collecting my thoughts and being a bit more serious here, if tax is getting cut, what will happen? People will have to pay less money, which would mean that people might have more money in their hand. If they have more money in their hand, what would they do? They'll spend more. And if they're spending more, companies' revenue could increase. And if companies' revenues are increasing, then obviously the stock prices of the companies could move up again. So again, stock market could see, because of an indirect effect, stocks could move up and markets could like positively be impacted by this. So that's definitely there. And also, when people have more money in their hand, I want them to be using that money well, saving well, rather than spending and investing also. So that's also something that I'm looking forward to.
So now that we are seeing government is trying to help salaried individuals and giving some tax relief, but again government still have to make some money from somewhere. They have to bring up revenue so that they have to run the country, right? So what would they do?
So the Indian government earns most of its direct tax revenue from people earning more than 1 crore per year. So even if this change is introduced, the hope is that it won't be a huge hit for the India's direct tax collection system. And on the other hand, we also have the very forward-looking statement of GST coming into play and indirect taxes being increased. You can see that conversations, caramel popcorn and whatnot being discussed, where the regulations are trying to bring everyone in the country under the tax bracket. So we have the last saying that even in India, only 2% of population end up paying tax. So in order to change that, you can start increasing your indirect taxes, trying to reach more people through that, and trying to reduce your direct taxes. I think that's a good way to go for India.
Absolutely. Even I saw Nikhil Kamath saying in one of the interviews saying that, okay, in direct taxes, anyway, very less people are actually filing the taxes and paying, like rightly you said. So if we increase taxes on goods and services that we use, which is GST
And
again,
transaction taxes is what I
absolutely.
think he mentioned.
So that people have to do it every day. You're buying a chocolate, you're buying a car, you're doing anything. There is some transaction happening, and crores of people are actually doing it every day. And you take 1 2 rupees more from everyone, you're collecting a lot more money indirectly, which is again tax.
Yeah. So even a farmer who's making more than 10 crore rupees annually, he does not have to pay a single rupee in tax. Imagine that. But if this indirect taxes increased, like maybe he goes to buy a new S class, right? He anyway has to end up paying tax. So that's what the ideology here is. But one thing that I want the audience to very clearly understand is that the entire tax that the government is going to collect is only going to increase. They'll find out ways for better taxation. Maybe it might be a more equitable solution. That means everyone is happier. But I don't think that the tax you're going to pay is going to reduce. Because if you're looking at the tax to GDP ratio of India, it is only 11%. You compare it to the US, it is 25% there. That means whatever tax the government collects, it is coming out to nearly 25% of the government's GDP. Even in China, it is 20%. The World Bank says that you should at least have a tax to GDP ratio of 15% in order to grow as an economy. But here, India is at 11% and we are fighting for tax cuts. So something has to give in. But I think the logical thing here to do is bring more people under the tax bracket, either by indirect taxes or some new radical change, and try to make it equitable for everyone. That's what I think.
But again, one very strong opinion, like I would want to put across here is, many people blame government to collect taxes and all. But again, those salaried individuals or the commoners in India are again looking for freebies. They want free electricity, free buses, and everything. They want government to supply it to them. And where will government supply? You don't want to pay income tax. You don't want to pay for electricity. You don't want to pay for any actual necessities that you want. And now you are asking government, why are the infrastructure bad? Why are you collecting taxes? Come on, guys. How will they even, run this government? How will they run this whole economy? So they'll have to do something to make money out.
Yeah.
And that is where all these indirect taxes are coming in.
Yeah.
And like GDP ratio, the debt to GDP ratio,
Tax to
the
GDP.
tax to GDP ratio, like rightly Ajay said, we are, compared to China and everything, we are still in a decent place and we are still fighting for it. I think, come on, guys, we have to change our mindset a little bit here.
But before we move on to the next story, one thing I'd like to re-establish is the fact that this is just a rumor.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
While there are rumors saying that tax cut would be there for people earning anything near 15 lakh rupees, there are strong rumors and people coming with strong opinions that such rumors always come and go. And most probably this would not materialize
Yeah.
also.
So even last year, there were a lot of rumors, and what ended up happening was effectively you would have paid 5,000 rupees less tax over an entire year. I mean, that's not much, right?
Yeah.
So again, this year, there could be tax cuts, but will it be at the magnitude or the level at which people are expecting or they're hoping for? I think the only logic that I can say to our viewers is wait till February 1st. That's
Absolutely.
going to be the budget day. That's when all of this is going to be announced, and it'll be very clear. Every news channel, in fact, even we'll talk about it, right? It'll be very clear to all of you on the budget day. Don't try to make any speculation before that. But we just wanted to give you an overview of what could happen, what are the economic impacts of it, what is something or what could change. The government still has to make money. What could change there? So all those scenarios is what we wanted to discuss. So hope everyone has a lot of clarity there.
Absolutely. And when you mentioned the budget coming out on February 1st, which is a Saturday, the trader in me really wants to mention this point that Saturday, normally where the market is closed, will remain open on February 1st, the Saturday on the day where a budget is going to be announced. But one thing which was very interesting was when I'm on Twitter, I see a lot of people saying, hey, now NSE wants to even make more money and milk traders by keeping the exchange open on an exchange day, on a budget day, which is Saturday. But that is a misconception. So I really want to correct that here. There have been instances in the past where budget was announced on a Saturday and market remained open on a Saturday. So it's not a new thing where NSE wants to make more money or any conspiracy theories of sorts. It's a normal thing for the market to remain open on a budget day if that's on a Saturday.
So budget usually happens from Monday to Saturday, never happens on a Sunday. So if it's on a Saturday, which happens maybe once in every 5-10 years, market is open.
Absolutely.
So I think that's not a huge concern or a huge conspiracy. Yes.